see each other's tents and fireplaces. And I learned I could even steal people's stuff. I wouldn't normally do that, but I just wanted to try it. So Andrew was just across from me. I think we were at Oshkosh camping out. He's got his fireplace, I got mine. I went over and I stole his beer case and brought it back to my camp. It was great. So
and it doesn't move for me. And that's the unfortunate part is
beer always tastes better when it's someone else's.
But it's always there for me.
And it was still
there.
Okay.
If you save again instead of putting out a new set of numbers and then me reloading in the new camp.
Okay. And this is a great thing to camp on that utility, you guys. Actually, we should do it every Saturday, but we haven't been. But whatever plane you're flying, you can use it. So Dane St-Maire just updated his 2 bush airstrips. I think this was back in early December, though, that he did this. And we went and had a look at these airports in one of our group flies. It was great.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, because we flew in.
But this is where you find them, you guys. Go ahead, Andy. We flew in at what?
No, I was just going to say, we flew into Duncan, Cam 3, on our last Trans-Canada flight. Actually.
Yeah. It was great. That was awesome.
And I saw a thing about Cam 3 the other day. It's actually a bit difficult to get in and out of, and it's actually a rock quarry that's right next to it.
Really? So we should just go back in there again. Helicopters coming up soon. Once Dale gets his collective back in order, you guys, then we are going to be back in here again and go and fly helicopters. We did this again. I don't know timelines. We've done hundreds of streams now in the last 2 years. At least 3 a week. We used to do 4 a week. So helicopters was a 3-part series we did with Dale as the demo pilot because he was doing helicopters more than all of us. And so we had him being the demo, and we went through the basics, you guys. And the basics mean you got to do that. In real life, you'd go through the basics helicopter training before you ever take a helicopter out. One of the first things they teach you is to hover. Just a couple of feet off the ground while you're looking at your runner, and they'll actually tell you to put your runner down on something on the ground. See that stick over there? And they'll put it on the stick on the ground. Say, all right, now you do it. And so things like that, not exciting, not sensational, but that's what we did in our 3-part series. We started out with the same progression you would in real helicopter training. And Dale was the demo person because he could handle his helicopter the best. So that's the idea behind that 3-part series. Now, we did that before helicopters were part of the sim, before they were native, as they say, to the sim. So these helicopter models that we would get, we would buy them or find them on flightsim.to, and they had to have an extra module that we ran first, which controlled the dynamics of the helicopter. And you can still do that, of course, right? But now, as you know from the 40th anniversary, everybody, that helicopters are native to the sim, which means we don't need an extra module to simulate helicopter dynamics. That's a big thing. And also in some of our settings, you can see there's helicopter settings. It is a big thing, you guys, even though it might be a few menu items, or it might be, we got helicopters, so what? It's a huge jump for Microsoft to do that for the sim, to make it work properly. So now that we have native helicopters, so even, and I say this, you guys, because before you had to buy or add the software, run the software, and then run the sim, now Xbox users can fly helicopters. So we're going to bring back the helicopter series, the same 3-part series, because it's the same basics we need to learn. And we'll probably use the built-in helicopter that's there so that everybody can go fly. All right. Now, I'm guessing the Xbox has helicopters too. Anybody want to correct me on that? And let me know.
Theoretically, Xbox got the 40th anniversary, so they would have gotten the helicopters.
Yeah, and I have to assume I don't know anybody who has Xbox who has told me I love the helicopters. So is Oz Nomad still with us, or did he have to go?
Bobby says Xbox has the helicopters.
Okay, so there we go. So this means that everybody can participate now. When we did the helicopter series, the Xbox users were just sitting there watching the series, you guys. Now we can participate, all right? Which is pretty cool. So that'll come as soon as Dale, we're just waiting for Dale to get his collective together and get his head back into helicopters. He's been flying everything. So once he's rolling with all of that, and he says, yep, okay, let's roll, we'll set up the 3-part series on a Tuesday. 3 Tuesdays in a row, and we'll do helicopters, you guys. Again, we'll bring it back because lots of people are asking for it. I heard you did helicopters. Can we do it again? Yep, we can do it again. Just have to make sure Dale's ready for it.
Womby's been doing Capri G2 flying from the couch. his Xbox.
I mean, how do you do that? This guy's got skills, you know. I tried flying with the controller that's built into Xbox. The Xbox controller is not the easiest thing. I'm used to what they call gross motor controls, where you use at least your wrists. Here we're talking about thumbs, you guys. Even with my Nintendo, you know, when I play Mario Kart, we actually just go like this with the controller, even though it's wireless. It works. Yeah, so, yeah, it's hard to do. That's a skill. There's no doubt that's a skill. When you look at that, that's amazing. I mean, Wombi he doesn't surprise us, you know, the stuff that he does. Pretty amazing. So we'll be bringing that back, you guys. And I've also reached out to the maker of, there's 2 versions now of the 206. Who makes that? Is it Bell? Bell 206?
Yes.
That's a very difficult plane to fly. That's a very difficult helicopter to fly. I actually know somebody in real life who owns a brand new 206. So I'll be going up in it someday soon. And no, the point, you know, for real. Now, I reached out to both manufacturers. Isn't it ironic that Fly Inside's one of them, and I'm trying to think of the other company, and I've reached out to both of them to see if they'll give us a press copy for us to use on the stream. And, you know, maybe that would be the advanced part of our helicopter course. We do the built-in stuff first, and then for those who want more advanced challenge, we'd go into something like the 206 and just do that. The PA-44 Seminole. All right. Fly Mavic. Okay. Fly Inside and Cow and Sim. That's it, Wombi. Yeah. That's it. Cow and Sim. Yeah. Stephen Vore, y'all impressive, but I got a show from the rooftops. Just bought MSFS, Microsoft Flight Simulator, made it ugly, but we walked away from it flight using only my keyboard. Just your keyboard! And that deserves a round of applause. You guys, if you can fly with just a keyboard, you just like, that's a skill. There's no doubt there's a skill there. Wow, that's quite the skill. Whew! But, you know, you got to get yourself at least a stick, you know. Maybe not the full yoke yet. Because in real life we don't fly with a keyboard. But anyway, that's pretty wild, you guys. Alright, so this area here, helicopters, will come into play in a bigger way as we go along. But there's already products, of course, that have been out for a while. For a year, maybe a year and a half, we've had products for helicopters. And we've previewed a lot of them here on the channel. And then we'll go in and start looking at lessons, you guys. People are expecting it on this channel, so we're going to do it. Wombi! CJ4 stuff. Look! Wombi helps out a lot, you guys. He really does. This was as early as a few weeks ago here. And, hey, he's talking about this AAUI. What's that again?
Aircraft and Avionics Update.
Sheesh.
Number 1.
Number 1.
There's going to be
more
several
than one
of them.
And look, he's highlighting some of the cool things that he's figured out already. Or he's probably worked on. I have no idea. So that's pretty cool. So you guys, there's lots more to talk about here, but we're not here to just go over Discord and just do a Discord plug. We also want to come back here into into Howard's YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't realize I had a link up there. Did Dale put that in, Andrew? A Howard's YouTube link. Wow, that's cool.
I put it in.
Oh, you put that in there.
I put that in a long time ago.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize there was one here on Discord. No, that's cool. Thanks for that. All right, so back to cockpit hardware, you guys. Back to cockpit hardware. Can we do Dale now? Is he here? Is he here? You're not involved with working on that, Wombi. I am surprised. Wombi does a lot of things for other developers in the background. They usually call him when they can't figure stuff out, you guys. I'm serious. He won't say that, but I'm serious. I already know. All right, so at this stage, what we're doing is we're just waiting for Dale to poke his head in, and then we'll go into Dale's stuff here on Discord. In the meantime, let's talk about new software you guys got for Christmas. You ready for that? New software for Christmas. What did you get? New airplanes, and you guys were just talking about the Milviz 310 and the FlySimware 414. And then Max says, I learned in the Seminole, like in real life. So are they competitors, those two? The 310 and the 414? Are they very similar?
The 414's bigger.
All right. But they're similar in function? They're similar, they're both twins, they both have similar endurance, gallons per hour, service ceiling. Is that it?
You know, not having the Chancellor, I couldn't say. But I do have the Seminole that they were talking about. I have that from Carinano. I had that a while ago. And I flew it, and it was nice. And then the 310 came out, which I have in one of the other sims, and I just love it. So I was quite happy too.
I'm just going to move away from this guy. Someone spawned in right on top of my parking spot. They saw me there and said, wait a second. There we go. It looked kind of strange. And let's just bring it up. What this is, and then we'll just talk about flow for a second, you guys. What this is here is where we're going to be on Tuesday. I'm doing test runs and sample stuff at the airport. This is the uncontrolled airport that we're going to be using, and then we'll be flying into the controlled airport nearby with VATSIM. So we'll be doing this without VATSIM to start with, and then we'll be using VATSIM after that. That looks like a beaver up ahead. Yeah, definitely a beaver. Yeah. Way cool. And he's going to push back over top of me. See, I can tell. It looks like he's doing a run-up right now. It's kind of wobbly. So Flow Essentials might upgrade to Pro already. So Ian McLav got Flow Essentials, and there's something called Flow Pro, and he might upgrade to Pro already. So okay, so what would make you go to Pro? What's the one feature or the main reason you would do that? And I'll just pull this up on the screen. Yeah, look, so the beaver's backing up over top of me, so someone's having some fun, saying, wait a second.
Oh, that's okay.
That's a visual.
You were parked next to me when I was here a minute ago.
Is that you?
Yep.
That's you, Andrew. Look at him. He says, okay, now I'm going to go forward. It's the Ford or Beaver run. So that's you, okay. Easier way to navigate than stock toolbar. Pro is great for streamers. All right. So great for streamers. I mean, it's a disc. I'm actually going to show you that what it looks like. Flow by Parallel 42. So here's what they're talking about, you guys. While Andrew moves around the airport in a beaver. I love that airplane. I really do. And I see Andrew loves it too. So, I don't know about you, Andrew. I'm split. I have this decision to make every time I fly now. Stock 172, 172 SB Sim. Of course, that's a no-brainer. I go with the BV Sim. Or the beaver. Now what? And if you guys saw my wallpaper, you'd see it's a beaver wallpaper. So Flow, what does it look like? Say goodbye to the poorly designed default toolbar. Flow brings a highly intuitive, easy to navigate in-game interaction wheel to flight simulation. Now let me just say this. The default toolbar at the top of the screen is fine unless you've added a bunch of stuff. If you've added a bunch of stuff, now you've got to pick and choose what's going to be visible. And I think that's when people have outgrown it, when they've added a bunch of stuff to the toolbar. Otherwise, the toolbar isn't bad. And I still keep the stock toolbar because I'm taking screenshots all the time of things from the toolbar to teach people stuff. If I use Flow, they go, what's that add-on? Oh, I can't get that one for my PC or for my Xbox. So I keep the standard one up here. I do have Flow. I uninstalled it so I could do videos. So here's the standard toolbar that they're talking about, and Parallel 42 is talking about the inefficient. Well, what's inefficient about it? You hover up here and click and pick something. Or you do the shortcut. If I wanted this VFR map, I would just hit V. I don't have to use the game bar or whatever that bar is, menu bar. So, it's not that bad for default stuff. But when you start getting more stuff, I've already got the pushback tool, the camp out tool, and I think the rest is all stock up here. I don't have anything more added up here. So, and I don't use the majority of these things. I don't. I either use a shortcut key or I just do in-game navigation or something. So this isn't so bad. There's nothing really wrong with it. But Parallel 42 has found a better way to do multiple menus and submenus, which is what you need in any interface, like websites. If a website didn't have menus with submenus, you have a mess of links all over the page, right? So I think that's one of the reasons they go with it, right? Shadow Display Team! How you doing, guys?
It also lets you have wheels for specific aircraft. So if you have some things that are only there you only use on a particular airplane, it can be specific in its own wheel.
Cool.
And then when you roll left, right to it. It's like, okay, I'm in the Beaver. I use this, this, and this in the Beaver, and you go to the Beaver wheel, and there they are.
Cool. See, I don't even know what you would use it for, but that's cool.
I believe it's this one that actually has you can configure it such that you end up having your Twitch chat on your sim screen.
That's handy. Now, I'll tell you why you would do that, you guys, because I look into all this stuff before I started streaming. Having your Twitch chat, well, what's in that coffee? After having, if you want, your Twitch chat that everybody's in right now, if you want that on your screen, most people would do that because of YouTube videos. They want to do full screen YouTube video, but then they don't see chat. So they go back to normal screen video so they can see chat. So a lot of streamers who use YouTube will put the chat right on their screen. It makes it more cluttered, but you would see it in the video full screen. It would be over here wherever you want it, or wherever you put it on the screen. That's a reason to do that. And there are overlays that let you do that. You don't need Flow to do that. But it is nice that Flow can, if that's a feature of Flow, that's cool. What I wanted to say first was there's a free version, there's an Essentials version, and then there's the Pro version. And we heard already that one of you said you have Essentials, but you're going to move to Pro right away. But this is the thing, you guys, about good marketing. They're going to put the best features, the most desired features, into the Pro version. It's all marketing. Right? It really is, you guys. And I've been in this for years, in this sort of thing. When you take a look at Microsoft Exchange Server, you guys, most of you don't even know what that is, but Exchange Server is the email server Microsoft uses to drive all their emails. Originally, Hotmail was probably where you would use it. I taught and built thousands of these things in back rooms, right, server rooms. So the Exchange Server product came with a standard and an advanced. This is Microsoft marketing, right? So I've been with Microsoft for 30 years, guys. So in the standard version, in the original versions of Exchange Server, it did not have internet email. Now, a lot of you might not know this, but some of us here in the stream were around when we didn't actually have internet. So we would build a server, and one of the questions as a consultant, do you need internet email? Nah, nobody uses it. We don't need it. So they don't need to buy the Pro version, or they don't need to buy the enhanced version of Exchange. But the enhanced version, they put the internet connector in the most expensive version, because as it grew in popularity, everybody wanted to start doing internet email. So guess what? Microsoft sold the advanced version, the very overpriced version, by the ton. I'm talking about. Developers like Wombi would find that a very handy feature because he does scripts. He knows them inside. Lots of people do. I mean, we've seen it on our channel, right? Lots of you are into doing some programming, making some scenery, working with Blender, working with XML, and making your own scripts, probably in XML from what I'm guessing.
I don't remember.
I'd say most of us for what. Let's see in there. Hey, Skeptic's with us. Hey, Skeptic's in the crowd. Everybody say hi to Skeptic. Yo! How you doing, girl? Look, they're all coming in here. That's great. Shadow Display Team. Gifted a tier 1 sub. Why did that not even show up? Did I turn it off? I guess I turned it off. Sorry, you guys. I didn't even see it.
It's probably off from the other night.
The other night we got completely spammed, and I had to actually turn off the notifications because we couldn't focus on the lesson. But sorry about that, you guys. Shadow Display Team, thank you very much. You're so generous. Gifted a tier 1 sub. And Max Level gifted the Shadow Display Team. Wow.
Yeah, that was actually a gift too.
Look at you, man. Is that right? Did I miss one already?
No. Wow. The gift, the sub to Shadow Display Team was a gift to Shadow. Yeah. I'm not sure who usually ends up running the Shadow Display Team account. I don't know if it's probably Steve.
It's probably Steve. Come on, he's the voice of the group, right? You guys, if you don't know who these guys are, you got to go see their channel. And I probably have I can't even remember the shortcut. Do you remember it, Andrew? Is it shadow?
Probably
Is
shadows.
it display team? Is it shadows? I don't know. I forget.
Probably just shadow.
You guys, I've made so many custom commands now. I got to have a list in front of me and post it here in the studio because I keep my memory. I tell you. But you guys just look up Shadow Display Team and they do stream absolutely, and they're also on DCS. Yeah, nice. All right,
Thanks,
so pro
Amanda.
version is really for the tinkerers who want to script stuff. Okay, so Oz says that. Yeah, I have the pro version. I haven't checked it out. I had it running. I said cool. I put it away so that I could do more. I record a lot of videos, you guys, and I want to use stock interfaces. I find when I use extra stuff, it turns a lot of people off that don't have that stuff and go, I'm not going to watch anymore. So that's why JS, CSS, HTML are the 3 script types. No kidding. Huh. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And there are a lot of developers, you guys. Thanks, Phantom. There are a lot of developers who are familiar with all 3, and you just pick and choose which one you want. Certainly, I would have to say HTML is probably the first language a lot of people would learn who are web designers, and then code by hand. And then cascading style sheets go hand in hand with web pages and JavaScript. Now JavaScript, it did become its own language too. There's JS.NET, so I mean, JavaScript.NET. And I think, if I remember, the developers who have worked with me. All right, and let's go to Skeptic wants to remove clouds from live weather for VATSIM. Ooh, cool. Remove clouds from live weather for VATSIM. Skep, I never heard of that. I never thought of that, I mean. It's like, that is a great idea. Because we're about to do this next Tuesday. As a lot of you know, we're going to be doing the workshop. And in the workshop, half of it will be built-in ATC, Xbox users also, and then the other half will be VATSIM Live. And we're going to go in as beginners, and we're going to do VATSIM at an uncontrolled airport, and we're going to venture into some other airport with a controller. It's going to be fun. But I can see that, because if their ATIS says there are no clouds at 1,500 feet, and your sim says that there's clouds at 1,500 feet, then what's with that? So I can see, I never thought of that. That is cool. That's cool. So are you saying this tool can do that, Skeptic, or that's just a wish list kind of thing? And there was a lot of stuff in here in chat that I haven't caught up with yet. Crypto Sonar, what do you mention there? Happy New Year to you too. First Sim Fly 2 picked up the Stream Deck. Yes. 200 on release date with the dials clockwise, counter, click, and swipe screen and plan to program them for MSFS. Huh. And you also stream. The Honda H-Jet, beautiful. Picked up the Freedom Fox bundle, beautiful. Picked up the full Reno bundle from Marketplace. Wow, you guys, there's a Reno race coming up. I think it's the 25th. CDL contacted me. I was in the last Reno race they did on the MSFS official channel. I just jumped in as a newbie saying, hey, it could be fun. And I was in last place. So it's very humbling. But you have to practice, and you got to know your airplanes, you guys. And I'm not a racer. You remember that one, Andrew? It was like, okay then. That was a lot of fun. So I was.
Comic Crazy's rating. Hey, Comic.
Hey, Comic, how you doing? Welcome, everybody. This is like old homecoming here. It's like, it's so cozy.
Yeah, Fly Mavic is also pointing out he loves the teleport function of Flow. Yep, it is pretty neat because you can appear, spawn into wherever, and then go find another airport and pick a parking spot or a runway, and it will move you.
So that's what Dane is mentioning about really handy instead of going out, changing, and resuming. Is that what he's saying?
Yep.
That's cool. All right, you guys, I'm going to have to put it back in again. I'm just going to... Hey, I see that on the screen. Comic Crazy. Maxed, you're doing it again. Just gifted a sub to Comic Crazy. Hey, look at you guys go. Look at you guys go. Thanks for the gift subs. You're so generous.
That too, Dane. Yeah, because it'll show you where all your friends are. If they're online, you can spawn where your friend is.
That's cool. I like that. See, I haven't looked closely at you guys, and you guys know that when I do go into a product, I go in full-fledged. I read manuals from cover to cover. I've had to do that as an IT trainer all my life because people ask me questions. I've had to read the EULA, the End User License Agreement, which nobody reads, because people ask me questions later. So I'm like that. It's just in my blood. Every day I'm reading something. There's a book in my face and something. So I'll do the same thing here. I'll get to know it instead of... So everything from the free version, this is the essentials that one of you got for Christmas, and you're moving to Pro. But anyway, in the essentials, the weather widget. Let's go back to free. What do you get with free? Flow free. Enhanced default toolbar replaces handlebar. Hide the default toolbar entirely. Okay, so the free version really just gets rid of the toolbar at the top and gives you the wheel. That's really what I'm seeing here. Now when you get into essentials, look at all the extra widgets. This is a term we've been using for forever. Right, Wambi? Widgets, you know. We called them widgets even on our phones back in the day, on our desktops. What was it, like XP or Windows 98 or something? I don't know. We used to call them widgets way back in the day. So look at all these. Portal widget, weather widget, time widget, position widget. Wait, there's a Harry Potter widget. Made you guys look. There's a widget for something.
Don't laugh. Somebody's liable to do it.
There's a cloak of invisibility, and then there's a... I'm just kidding, you guys. Flaps up, down, aircraft. Look at all this stuff. Parking brakes on, off. You know, this is good, you guys. Parking brakes on, off. Although we have the keyboard shortcut, the keyboard shortcut only works if you click on the sim screen. I have multiple screens here. Now I've just set up my G1000, so now I got 8 screens that are live right now. But, you know, the whole point is that if you click away on something else, which you do when you're a streamer, and then you go to take your brakes on or off, it doesn't work because that keystroke goes to whatever screen's live, right? Or whatever product you're clicking on. So I found that many times I go to do flaps down and they don't work. So, you know, this is good that you have hardware instead. But it's nice that they have this because then you can just use the flow wheel for that. Anyway, the essentials does door controls, gear controls, lighting controls. I can see why people want the essentials, but why did he move to Pro? A platform for power users and creators. Okay, maybe that's why, right? Huh. Import-export scripts, Twitch integrations for content creators. ATC bot. Well, look at that. Chat overlay. There you're talking about the chat overlay, Andrew. All right. Real-time sim data directly to your Twitch chat via community standards commands. What? Info, plane, alter. You guys, the stuff I don't even know about yet. All these smokeroos. Hey, that's like, wow, streamline your setup. Wow, I'm going to have to look at that. You guys, it's never ending. When you're a Twitch streamer, it's never ending. It's like every day. You got to learn something new. You got to learn something new about flying. Heads-up display. Auto. Search bar for the true power user. There you go. Well, I have Pro, so I ended up getting it, but I'll have to go. I'll just have to install it and get going with it, you guys. So way to go. Way to go. Now, the same people, Parallel 42, make the Freedom Fox, and they make Sky Park. Beautiful. And they also make the Campout. I'm surprised it doesn't say Campout on here. Huh. I'm sure Parallel 42 makes Campout. Don't they, Andrew? Right, and you were mentioning something in here.
Dane has put out another point that if you bought Essentials but you think you might want to upgrade to Pro, or if you're buying Essential but you think you might sometime want to go up to Pro, he's pointing out pick it up from Orbix because you can do the upgrade by only paying the difference.
Great advice.
If you bought it directly from Parallel or somewhere else, then you'll have to pay the full price if you go to upgrade later on.
Super. Dane Samir, the weather widget's real nice, and also position widget and the portal widget. Yeah, you're mentioning that. Yeah. All right. Trying to keep QNH and Win up to date.
And there's Dale. Dale is here.
Dale's in the ground.
Hey, Dale.
Hi, Dale. How you doing? Dale's in the ground, ladies and gentlemen. Teleport, another great tool. Okay, I'm catching up, you guys. I know this stuff we've been talking about here. The wind direction and flow, beautiful. Comic Crazy is a past winner of an endurance race, the Paris-Dakar race. He is the winner. He's the one. He did it. He did it. Glad he stopped in, as I know. Yeah, I know so much about it. Well, Comic Crazy, I'm not showcasing it. I'm just, they're mentioning it. I asked what software people got for Christmas, and 2 of them came up with Flow. You got for Christmas. So one was an Essentials moving to Pro, and the other one I bought Pro. So we just thought we'd go hit their page and see what it is. But beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Flow Pro is awesome. What a name too, right? Flow Pro. Let's see. Buy Essential, make sure you buy from Orbix. Got it? Yeah. Hello, Lima.
So Dale, you only had to pay the difference.
And Wambi's right here too, right? The fun MSFS guessing game is my parking brake on. Yeah, unless you look down in your cockpit and see the position of it behind the yoke, 172. DC3, it's a pull-out knob, stuff like that. Other than that, how do you know? And many times I've parked the plane and got the drone camera out, and someone has told me, by the way, Howard, your plane just fell off the mountain. It happens, you guys, because the parking brake wasn't on. I thought I put it on, but it wasn't clicked on the sim screen, So I think that's a good thing, yeah.
Charles Farmer, yes. I have it. Sounds like, Howard, you had it and then uninstalled it?
Yeah, I uninstalled it, yeah.
I have it. I still have it hooked up. I haven't played with it a whole lot, but I do have it in there. So.
Yeah, so Charles Farmer, I have it. I uninstalled it so I could make videos because I mentioned it earlier, but maybe you didn't hear it. But when I do videos for whoever needs them or for my courses, if I put a tool in there like Flow, everybody will be going, great, I don't have that tool. And then they usually stop and they don't continue. I look at the statistics, right? So I've learned that if we're going to have videos on how to fly or how to use this tool, this product, you can't keep throwing third-party stuff in because then it looks like a sales platform. Oh yeah, well there's these 6 things that I've installed that you got to go get. People.
But I will point out, Howard, that if you have Flow installed,
probably hide it.
When you set it up, you bind it to a key. So unless you press that key, there's nothing extra showing on your screen.
Yeah, so I would just have to be careful not to do that while recording or post edit. Time to get you a second PC. What? I don't want another one. So you see the notice in there, you guys? Please register to compete at the Mock Loop or be a camera judge person. The event is on Saturday, January 28th. We mentioned it at the start of the stream, and that'll pop up every half an hour in case you missed it the first time. By all means, go and register. It's going to be so much fun, in whatever plane you want. We even did it with blimps. The Ford Learn to Fly blimp. We had a few of those going, and we did the Mock Loop with that. We started out the Mock Loop with the Spitfire. That's what we started with, way back when the Spitfire was first released. And Andrew and I, we did this new event called the Mock Loop, which is very famous in the world in real life. And we can still do Spitfires. We could do CF-18s. We could do whatever you want. Let's do it in the Spruce Goose. Or the Wright Flyer.
Dave, that's true. Because you want to know the funny part is, that's the key I have it hooked up to, is my tab key.
One for teaching, one for flying. Yeah, that's a perfect idea, Charles Farmer. Yeah, I'm going to get into it now, you guys. I've been making videos and I've been writing courses. This whole series on ATC, that's taken some time to make those happen. And I've just today polished off the presentation part of the workshop, and now I'm going through the practical part of it and timing it. Yeah. So that takes a lot of time, you guys. And so once I'm finished those things, I relax and say, okay, what software product should I be looking at? And then I'll open up Flow again and I'll get it going, you guys, and maybe we'll do a complete session on it. In the back of the Alpha on the left side is great binding. Well, Fly Mavic, I use that for my microphone on Pilot Edge and VATSIM. So that one's reserved for my.
That's the push to talk for later.
Yeah, that's
Dale, that's true. That's something we need to sit down with Howard and teach him that. But you could set it up so that you can pick a fun set of add-on links and a teaching or video set of add-on links, and you can leave out the things you don't want to have active.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, Dale. I do have the linker. You guys, both you and Andrew know I got it. And right now it's set for all. And whatever I install, it just happens. And when you install new stuff, it goes into my normal community folder, and I just leave them there. So it freed up my hard drive. It freed up my 2 terabyte hard drive. And the linker is a great tool. I haven't fine-tuned it into what I'm flying at the moment, because I fly so many different areas. But anyway, I'll work on that. Yeah, that's true, right? And the student becomes a teacher. Yeah, so that's great. I caught up on chat. Wow. Thanks for the interaction, you guys. We really promote it here. Let's go take a look at... So Flow, we'll take a look at it in a future thing, but you're hearing positive things in chat. Everybody's loving it. Nobody has said anything bad about it. This is great. And that's an endorsement in itself, you guys. So I'll show that. Probably next stream I'll throw it in there, and I'll start using it and get comfortable with it. And I'll be pinging some of you to find out, show me how this goes. Yeah. So let's go back to our really, I'd say really active Discord. I mean, there's other Discords that are more active than ours, you guys. I've been a visitor on some Discord channels that I'm like, wow, they just live in here. So I'm not so sure we're that active, but I love what we do have here. We got a lot of cool stuff. We got a lot of interactions. Wambi answering questions, CFI's answering questions, Andrew and I answering questions. Come here, start a discussion, find an area where you can do that. Or just DM one of us. DM means direct message, as many of you know. And just direct message us and say, I got a question, right? If you don't find an area where you can put it. All right, so let's go over to, I see nobody puts flight plans in anymore, Andrew. They're just relying on you to do it. All our flight plans, yeah, Andrew's been doing them, you guys. It's cool. How are you going to disconnect your autopilot then? What?
Yeah,
all right,
Dale has the SciTech panel, so he doesn't need to use the big red button on his Alpha yoke.
Well, yeah, the big red button. That's actually good for parking brake too. But again, did it? You know, is it on or off? Anything that's a toggle, how do you know? Fly Mavic says, I enjoy interacting with lots of flight discourse. Yeah, and that's the way to do it, you guys. Right? Longer hours to fly with you, 3 or 4. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so let's go over to Cockpit Hardware. And in Cockpit Hardware, was this a new one? Dutch just put it. No, here's where we are. So Dale, dun dun dun. Here we go. Are you ready? We've been waiting an hour for this, Dale. All right, let's move on to see what Dale's been working on a landing gear for his flight velocity panel. So the first thing we have to say is Dale has a flight velocity panel. Similar to what I did, you guys. I did a flight velocity panel and showed it on stream, and I made a video on how to put it together on my YouTube channel. And so that was donated by Flight Velocity to me to be able to set it up and make a video out of it. So, and I think they have a link for it from the Flight Velocity website. So, all right, so now we have a panel with instruments or whatever else on it. Now he's making stuff, and this is what Dale does because he's got a 3D printer. I mean, who has these things? And so you can see what's in here on the landing gear for his Flight Velocity panel. This is his first prototype. So let's look at this first. And my first reaction is, looks like a gear switch, doesn't it? It's got the circle like that, you know? The flap switch is horizontal. The gear switch is a circle, if you know, a round thing that's vertical, right? And that works well. And he's got some kind of robust switch here because if that's not a robust switch, that long throw arm is going to break the switch. Now, I'd hope that it would break the stem first because there are times that you are just about to land and realize your landing gear isn't down, right, Andrew? And so you have to go over and slap that landing gear switch down quickly. And it might break. So I don't know what do you make it out of. So that's the switch, but I can see now he's got this. The knob will light up indicating that the gear is unsafe. Well, now that, you guys, and I didn't see this ahead of time, that has got to be the coolest thing. Look at that. Nice. It isn't just a plastic piece attached to a switch. It actually has wires going into it.
It's a light bulb, and apparently he's going to make it short. The arm is going to be shorter than theirs. So
Charles Farmer says it's from a VW 1969. I used to own one of those. I've owned the Bug and I've owned the van. What's it called? What do we call the van again? You know,
Beetle.
The Beetle. The Beetle. That was no. I think the Bug was called the Beetle, wasn't it? I don't know. I forget.
Well,
the Bug is the car, and the Beetle was the van.
There's the car, and then there's
then
there's the van.
Back in the day. Back in the day. That was back when you guys listen to this. That was back when I had long hair past my shoulders. It starts getting curly from here. Long hair past my shoulders, and I played guitar. Mostly at campsites. You know, that's how I started. And eventually, I had enough saved up to go buy a used VW Beetle. You know. The Bug and the Beetle is saying, "Yeah, that's what I thought, Wambi. See." Anyway, I thought we called it the Volkswagen van because, you know, that was the rockin' machine with a really big, huge stereo, right? So, how do we get on that topic? So this is pretty cool. I wish, you know, that's actually a very cool thing. That's a red light when it's unsafe. So is it a green light when it's safe? That would be cool. But then a green light doesn't tell you if all 3 gear are down. That's why we say 3 in the green. Okay. All right, so that's cool, Dale. You want to talk about that? You want to come on and voice and talk about it, or you want to say anything more? How'd you get the idea? How do you know how to make it? What kind of software did you use? Or did you just like fire up the lathe and just turn a stem and the VW bus. Way to go, Max. Way to go, man. That's it. That's what it is. It's the VW bus. That's what we called it, yeah. That's what we called it. 3 in the green on the panel. All right, so that's the idea. The switch is an NKK S1-AL. Oh, I thought it was a Nimbus 9000. And heavy-duty toggle switch with a locking feature, so you have to pull it before you can get the gear up or down. Wow. No accidental gear stuff, you know? Wow. So then you're not going to break it. That's cool. That is cool. You don't have a mic set up. So let me guess now. You don't have a collective ready for our helicopter series, and you don't have a mic either. Holy moly, man. See what work does, Dale? This is what Andrew and I had to do for years. We had to battle work and then finally get and do simming. It's tough. You remember the first time Dale got a job, Andrew, he goes, work is hard. After his first day of work, he would say right in chat, work is hard. Yeah. Welcome to our world, our whole career. Now finally Andrew and I are both retired. Yeah. Cyclic is not. Collective is ready. Okay. Cyclic. Okay, you don't need the cyclic. Just kidding. Yeah. That is great. Well, you got lots going, man. You got lots going. But once you are ready and once you're comfortable and back into helicopters again, then we're going to be running that series. I was just talking about that earlier, Dale, before you came on chat. All right, so thanks for that, Dale. That's great. And the stuff that you're coming up with, you can see just by looking at the mounting screws, he's figured out what he needs. And then that'll sit on the other side of his flight velocity panel. Flight velocity panel is a pre-made 172 panel made out of high ABS plastic, I presume it is. It was easy to cut out stuff on it. And he could drill the holes for mounting and put the screws in and away he goes, right? And have enough room in the slot for this thing to go up and down. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Hoping to get it set up before the mock loop, but I'm not sure. Work is busy recently. Yeah, that's how it goes, right? Also hoping to get the landing gear attached this weekend. Cool. Dane Simmer. Gotta go. Yeah, catch you next time, Dane. Take care, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the interaction.
See you, Dane.
Thanks for the interaction. And so, Fly Mavic. Look at this. Our last one on here. Unless anyone wants, if you want to submit photos right now of your home cockpit, they'll show up underneath this one. We'll show them right now. But let's go have a look at this one. I'm actually surprised, Andrew, about Seb. I thought he said his 172. Hey, we got pictures already. I thought he said his 172 would be ready for Christmas, right? Remember? The one that Skeptic said, way cool. Remember that? Where he went out and bought a piece of junk 172 for parts. And it looks like Andrew's looking up the status, find out what's happening with Seb. Fly Mavic, what's going on, dude? What you got? All right, so let's go have a look at this. Welcome to the channel, guys. I see we got some new ones just came in. This is our Ford Learn to Fly cockpit chatter evening, where we talk about your home cockpit, and so and anything else that comes up in aviation news or whatever. So this is beautiful. Gaming keyboard, first of all, I noticed right away, with matching colors inside his PC. I mean, who does that, right? Beautiful. Headsets down here, one funky looking set of headsets, and the Alpha Bravo standard setup. Beautiful. Curved monitor, nice clean setup with everything you need to go fly. This is it, you guys. And all for the low price of, and if you call in the next 30 seconds. So, you know, the whole thing about this setup is it does not have to have a million screens. It doesn't have to have every piece of hardware you can think of. It doesn't have to have 3D printed anything. This can be it. Now, this still could run you a PC for $2,000, $3,000. Your Alpha Bravo for, you know, another $800. Nice set of headsets there, beautiful monitors. You know, you're talking easily $5,000. So I say nice, clean setup, and this is all you need. $5,000. You know, so this is the hobby we're in, you guys, and this hobby is not cheap. And so when we see Xbox users starting out with a $500 console and just the Xbox controller, then they can still fly with us. They can still fly, and it's the same flight simulator down below. So they just need to have some kind of TV or screen to put it on, right? So, but the more we get more powerful systems and more useful hardware in front of our face, the more we can feel the realism of flying. Nothing feels more real than a yoke in your hands and throttle in your right hand. That's how we fly. unless you're flying some other different planes that have a stick or whatever. And so that's the idea of why we end up buying hardware, to add that extra level of realism as we can keep affording it as we go along. And as you guys see, the Xbox has got almost the same hardware we have now already. People are just moving quickly on that because they realize there are millions of Xbox flyers now looking for hardware. And as you guys knew, a year ago, there was nothing, right? Xbox controller. Now they can do Alpha Yoke. Now they can do other things that we've been doing. There's pedals out now, too. Fly Mavic says, I really like the yoke. Absolutely. Be careful of that connector at the bottom. That connector at the bottom. I mentioned it before, you guys. Bear with me while I mention it again, because there's so many of you that have the new, you know, your new one. I don't know if they've fixed it because people have complained, but I did my own soldering. But this connector right here that connects to the body of the yoke also comes over and connects to the back of the handle. The handle moves, of course, in and out and around. And so that cable really stresses. It's a very tightly spun spiral cable, RJ45 on both ends. This thing really stresses the main body motherboard. This is soldered to the motherboard inside. That motherboard is not a simple matter of popping the bottom off and soldering it. You have to take the whole thing apart. I'm talking about the 9 screws up top here, take the case off, take off all of the hardware off, take off the motherboard off, and down there's a little tiny circuit board for that RJ45 connector. Without it, you've got intermittent flying. As you're turning, all of a sudden your plane levels, and you're going, wait a second, I'm still trying to turn. And then you try to turn, nothing's happening. All of a sudden, oh, there it is, it's back again. Intermittent flying is happening because of this foolish little connector. Bad design. So I opened it up, I resoldered it properly, and then I put in a looser, longer cable. And I actually put in, any network cable will work. Get the shortest one you can get at a store, and you can just plug it in here. You can wind it around the shaft a couple of times, and then plug it into the actual yoke. It will just pivot around this now, and it won't strain that. All right, so just keep that in mind, you guys. Cable design. Yeah, Dale, I agree, right? You think, well, you know, I don't think it happened to me until I, you know, got a couple 100 hours flying. But when it did happen, it's like, wow, it's out of warranty, I think. But so I had to go fix it. They probably did, Oz. You know, why wouldn't they? I mean, I complained to them. I showed them photos of what I did. I even had the whole thing apart, took photos, resoldered all the rest of it, and mentioned to them what I did. So that was back in the day. I'm sure they fixed it. Larry, what you saying, man? What are you saying? Huh? Terrible design, standard quality test. All right. Oh, okay. It is, you guys. Come on, family friendly. All right, so it works really well. Only thing is the panel is semi-permanent on your table now. So, Dale, you're responding to something back up here. Oh, Fly Mavic, you're mentioning Ryzen 5 5600X, beautiful motherboard, and GTX 2080, nice. 64 gigs, nice. You got a good, that's a great setup. Wow, wonderful. That'll work just fine. Ryzen 5 5600, okay. Yeah, with all the lights. All the lights, you guys. Isn't that pretty? It's pretty. All right, let me just mention, I think in here, new batch of the Alpha made the cable longer. Okay. Okay, Magic, thanks for that. Or MG Liquid, okay. Kiwi Craig, mine, the yoke came loose from the shaft. What? Had to take it apart and tighten up the hex screws. No kidding. That maybe, did you have to climb really fast? You know what you guys do? You white knuckle in a hurry, right? It's like, climb! Poof. Whoops. Can you imagine in the real planes? I mean, yeah. All right. Let's see. Thanks for that, Larry. Normal use, you end up wrecking the unit. Bad design. Yep. Okay. Noodle says, check my vid of mine. All right. That's why I went for the Boeing yoke, and not good for taking things apart and putting them back together. Always end up with extra parts. Yeah, it happens to us who are qualified technicians too. I had a TV servicing business, you guys, and I'm a certified electronic service technician. So yeah, I've been doing, extra parts are normal. I fix all my own cars. I have a whole collection of used bolts that came out of all those cars. They should go back somewhere. Okay, that's what you're referencing. Okay, what do I know? What do I know, you guys? I have to watch more movies. All right, let's see what else is there. I'd like to see more FFB flight sim hardware like there is for race simulators. Right now, I only know the FFB stuff from Runer. Okay. Not sure what you mean, but I guess there's, more hardware. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right.
He's referencing force feedback. So.
Ah, FFB. See, guys, with the acronyms, holy moly, man. Yeah, I know what I certainly know what force feedback is. And the original force feedback that Dale has and I have is the original. I think he has the 2 version, but the original Sidewinder joystick from Microsoft. I mean, it's one of those rare things. Microsoft's always made keyboards and mice. They didn't make a lot of hardware, but they made this Sidewinder joystick, which was our original force feedback. Not as good as the ones now, but not as good as my not as good as my butt kicker. But these things, force feedback is expensive to do, more expensive to do, of course. But when you take a look at simple things, also, well, I say simple, it's more complex. The Nintendo wireless controllers, they have Bluetooth, they have infrared, they have sensors for movement and all the rest of it. I mean, there's a complex little unit here that you use for driving with Mario Kart, or for all the other things you do with those controllers. And so when you look at the technology behind it, it does vibrate when things happen, right? That's a form of force feedback. Maybe not as elaborate as these high-end systems that people have with force feedback, but that's the idea. It gives you another sense as being touched. And I say that, you guys, because it's all about the senses. If you've ever been to any of these Hollywood kind of, like Universal Studios, you go into a theater and you're going to watch something on the theater and it's 3D and it comes right out at you and you go back like this. They go through a waterfall on the screen and all of a sudden a mist of water hits you. They're reaching more of your senses, all right? And then all of a sudden the chairs start rumbling. The whole theater, the chairs start rumbling. That's force feedback, right? That's touching more senses to give you more of a realism, right? And some of us who've had the butt kicker for our chairs, and some of you who have had force feedback devices know what we're talking about. Maybe in the racing world, right? So you see them more because you're on the ground. It's an earthquake run. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Mostly abandoned it for your yokes and CGA, mostly, right? Don't intend to break it out again for some good stick and rudder in small planes. Yeah. I think Dale took his apart because he just wanted to see what made it work. I don't know if he put it back together. All right. Fun stuff. All right, so let's go look at the next picture that's here. I think he's got more than one posted here. So that was the specs of that machine there. Beautiful, beautiful. I think he said 5600 was the CPU in it. And, all right, just a sec here. What are we looking at? Here's the stick set.